In this video, I will sketch out what avoidant attachment is, how it develops, how it looks in adulthood, and what we can do about it. So if you often feel emotionally distant or struggle to express your feelings, this video is for you. Avoidant attachment develops in early childhood as a coping mechanism in response to inconsistent or unresponsive caregiving. What we've experienced from our primary caregivers has, in a way, forced us to decide, I don't need anyone. I will do this on my own and forget about feelings. They're too painful, so we have learned to detach ourselves from our inner world. And as we take on this adaptive strategy, which we've formed in response to the caregiving that we've received, and use it from now on as a template for all relationships. So in adulthood, avoidant attachment would mean that you would have a fear of intimacy. You will have a difficulty to express your emotions, and you have a tendency to distance yourself from others. So how does avoidant attachment develop? Imagine a child who consistently reaches out to the caregiver for comfort and to get their other needs met. But the caregiver is either too busy, is distracted, or is just simply emotionally unavailable due to their own trauma or simply the circumstances at the time. So over time, the child will learn to suppress their emotional needs, believing that they are a burden or that their feelings are unimportant. This can lead to the development of avoidant attachment. So during the very first year of life, we communicate our needs by crying. And our primary caregiver, so in this case, I'll just use mother in the place of primary caregiver. Our mother has to receive the communication. She has to make sense of it. And she has to respond in an appropriate and timely way. But if this doesn't happen, if our cries are just not heard, or if they're misinterpreted, or even if they're correctly interpreted, but there is just a delay in having our needs met, what we'll experience is that we're just not seen, that our needs do not matter. And this is extremely painful for a baby to feel that their needs are not met, that there is no adequate emotional response to our distress. So feeling this frustration and disappointment time and again, many times a day, over many months, becomes too much. So in a defensive coping mechanism that is very much an adaptive response to the circumstances we find ourselves in, we learn to shut ourselves off from our emotions. So in a sense, we learn to dissociate. And this is not only in response to our physical needs being met or not being met, it goes a lot deeper. What we're missing is the deeply interpersonal sense of feeling felt, which is absolutely crucial for secure attachment. So if we're not being connected to on an emotionally supportive way, our parents simply didn't have the capacity to be present in themselves and in their relationships. So they were not able to attune to us. We experience that there is no intention on their part to know our mind. The pain of this feeling that your physical and emotional needs are not met and that they're not worth meeting is so painful that as an adaptive strategy, we learn to disconnect from our feelings and from our emotional world. As an adult, we may experience a deep sense of emptiness. We may look onto the world as if only the physical reality existed, the world of things, and not be in touch with our subjective experience of the body, of our feelings, our dreams and longings. So here are the 4 signs of avoidant attachment. So you can reflect for yourself. Number one is emotional suppression, either not feeling your feelings at all or having difficulty to express them and bottling them up. Two is the fear of intimacy. There's a hesitation to open up to others or to become emotionally close. The third sign is perfectionism, and that one I know well, a constant striving for perfection in order to avoid failure and rejection. And the fourth one is difficulty to trust others. So we struggle with building trust and forming deep connections. So how do we heal from avoidant attachment? If you recognize yourself in these descriptions, know that healing from avoidant attachment is possible. And some of the steps you can take are, number one, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness techniques can help you become much more aware of your emotions and bodily sensations, expanding and deepening your sense of self. You can join a support group, such as subscribing to this channel. Connecting with others who have similar experiences can provide a sense of belonging and also understanding. And finally, you can challenge negative beliefs. You can identify and challenge the negative thoughts about yourself or about your relationships. And by identifying how they have arisen from your childhood and seeing very clearly that these coping strategies can now be let go of as they have outlived their usefulness. So, one last thing, which I almost forgot, is gradually building up intimacy. So you can start small and gradually allow more intimacy in your relationships. So remember, healing from avoidant attachment is a process. So be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress along the way. Thank you so much for watching.